Okay, let's try this again. I guess my Chromebook just can't handle live videos. Anyway, um, but on the plus side, the text wasn't reversed, so I'm hoping that's the case here as well. All right, so once again, I'll show some books until we get at least a few viewers, and then I'll show the CD box sets. Yeah, let's see if I can fix this. Hopefully that works. Anyway, all right. So the first one again. Welcome back, viewer. uh, yes, the first book is Captain Fantastic: Elton John's Stellar Trip Through the '70s by Tom Doyle. And hey, Rob, how are you? Yeah. So thrilled to pick this up. I love Elton John, and um, uh, I I think there's a new book that has just been released. Um, I want to say it's just called Elton, and I think we have it at work actually. um, yeah, but this one, bargain bin at Barnes and Noble, so you can't really beat that, right? Let's quickly read the first paragraph, and I'm doing this again because the first video failed, but so if you were watching before, I apologize for the repeat here, but there you get to see a lovely picture. Anyway, yes. Fave Elton John track? Oh man. Oh man. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Um, you know what? It's super sappy, but I've always had a soft spot for Candle in the Wind. Um, but he has so many good ones, so many good ones. So honestly, it's impossible to pick. Rocket Man, yeah, yeah. I haven't seen that movie yet, by the way. So hopefully I will be able to see that soon. Now it'd have to be obviously on DVD or Blu-ray, but yes. So okay, you haven't seen it either. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna do a little reading here. All right, so chapter one, a long, long time. To fly all this way to California, across the Atlantic from England in a jumbo jet, to the land of freedom, adventure, and rock and roll, only to end up on a red, bloody London bus. He'd wanted to roar off in a Cadillac or something, instead of trundling toward Hollywood, taking fucking forever to get there. He was totally embarrassed, totally pissed off. Yes. So that book is off to a good start, and again, I did this little spoiler in the previous attempt at this video. Because this is not fiction, I do not mind reading the last sentence um, without having read the entire book. And as Reg would no doubt tell you, the records are all that matter in the end. Isn't that true? Yeah, so again, this is Captain Fantastic, Elton John's Stellar Trip Through the '70s by Tom Doyle. There's his name there. Yes, very cool. So thrilled to pick that up on the cheap. Another one I picked up on the cheap, and I'm even more excited about this one. Wise words, huh? Yeah. Uh, very thrilled to pick up this one. Waylon, Tales of My Outlawed Dad. A book about Waylon Jennings, written by Terry Jennings with David Thomas. So thrilled to pick this up. I think most of the country music biographies I have are Johnny Cash. Those are there's plenty of those to find. I do know I have a Tanya Tucker one. and I think a Willie Nelson one. Huh. I'm pretty sure I have a Willie Nelson one. But thrilled to add Waylon Jennings to the book collection. All right, now those two I'm sure I've never shown before. These I may have. Yes, I am massive on Willie Nelson. Now, I have to confess, part of it is his records are far easier to collect than like Johnny Cash, for example. It's extremely easy to find Willie Nelson records, but ever since I was a kid, I've always really enjoyed Willie Nelson. So there is some truth in saying that I'm a massive fan of Willie Nelson. Um, yeah. Should we do a little reading from this? Let's do just a little brief reading. Um, Again, it's ghost written, so it's not written exactly by his son, but let's see. Let's skip the forward. Let's skip the introduction. Here we go. All right. Chapter 1. Waylon. Folks in West Texas, where my dad grew up, like to claim they live in God's country. Perhaps so, but it's also the devil's playground when he gets to whipping up sandstorms. Okay, I accept that. And shall we skip to the last sentence? uh, should I do the epilogue or the actual? Let's do the actual. Well, the actual last sentence of the book, um, not counting the epilogue, is "Love you, Dad." So, well, let's read the paragraph before that, shall we? We had lost my father, and the world had lost an outlaw legend, one of the greatest singers, songwriters, and musicians to grace God's green earth. As Christopherson told me, your dad was like Mount Rushmore to me. I think Dad pretty much was to all of us. Interesting. Yeah, that's quite a statement there. Um, yeah. Anyway, there you go. There's a reading from that. Also picked up on the cheap at Barnes and Noble. All right. Again, these next ones, you know, I don't think I've shown them. So let's just move on here. Small book here. It is Rock and Roll by Nick Johnstone. Oh, sorry. A Brief History of Rock and Roll by Nick Johnstone. We're having more viewers. I don't know what's up with all these stickers. There's one on the front too. We're having more viewers, so I'm gonna probably breeze through these books now so we can get to the CDs because, um, yeah, that will be more exciting for you all. But this should be an interesting read. Then we have The Death of Rock and Roll by Jeff Pike. You hear a lot about Barnes and Noble. Um, well, it's basically the only major bookstore chain left um, in the U.S. Rob, remind me. I should know this. You're in England, but yeah. So basically, it's a big bookstore. We used to have a second one, second major chain called Borders. Ah, Manchester. Okay, I thought so. Yeah. So that explains it. Yes. Now, uh, I'm gonna forget the name of the store. There's a. Hey, Colin, how are you? You used to love Borders? Yes. We actually preferred Borders, but they did not survive. um, yes, yes. So, uh, Barnes and Noble was recently bought out by the gentleman that owns a major bookstore in England. Um, I'm not remembering. I'm not remembering the name of the store, but whatever major bookstore there is in England, the owner recently bought um, uh, Barnes and Noble. So anyway, yeah. So we have The Death of Rock and Roll by Jeff Pike. Should be another interesting read. Oh, I see. So it says the subtitle here is Untimely Demises, Morbid Preoccupations, and Premature Forecasts of Doom in Pop Music. Yeah. All right. I like the title of this one, Good Booty. Love and Sex, Black and White, Body and Soul in American Music by Ann Powers. Yeah. My music book collection is like out of control, but you know, it combines my two favorite loves, music and books. uh, this is a good reference book here. I was thrilled to find this one. Billboard's Hottest Hot 100 Hits by Fred Bronson. This is the fourth edition. How many Waterstones? Yes, thank you, Waterstones. Yes, the owner of Waterstones recently bought out Barnes and Noble, and he's hoping to revive it. Um, yeah, so I hope you can. um, oh, what was your other comment? Oh yes, how many music books do you have? Um, oh man, uh, I don't have a count, but it has to be well over 100, probably getting close to 200. Um, yeah, it's insane. Yeah, so but I'm very excited about this. Sorry about that. Um, yeah, 1 to 200 music related books. I mean, between my collection of books and my wife's, and I'm referring to all books, uh, we truly have an insane number of books. So yeah. All right. So this is just a quick look in here. Um, I guess yeah, this is kind of interesting actually. Like it has the top 50 Motown remakes. Hey Terry, welcome. Uh, the top 10 Beatles remakes. This should really be interesting. I should go into more depth with this one sometime. Uh, the top 100 instrumentals, the top 100 songs of 1957, the Monkees, the top 100 songs of 1966, and yes, I'm a Believer was at number one. Wow, this book is even better than I thought it was going to be. The top 100 songs of 1975. Number one was I'm Sorry, Calypso by John Denver. Yes, I love lists too. Uh, oh, yeah. I've read a lot of books about the Doors. Yeah, I really love. Well, it's my favorite band, so it makes sense. Um, yeah, uh, Jim Morrison was a real character, and he's kind of the reason that I don't really judge artists for their personal lives, shall we say. Um, because I mean he put out some amazing music along with the other members of the Doors. And if I judged him for being an ass, I wouldn't be able to like the Doors. And so uh, you know, I separate the music from the artist. Um, yeah, yeah, the Doors are amazing. Um, yeah. So this is very interesting, and it seems to go up to I think we got beyond the years. Uh, what was the last one? The top 100 hits of 2006 looks like the most recent list of the years. Oh, very cool. Morrison Hotel is well, all their albums are great, but um, yeah, to get that on vinyl, that's great. Um, I believe you were saying something about Echo and the Bunnymen. Yeah, yeah. I they actually did a cover. I want to say "People Are Strange" on the Lost Boys soundtrack. I could be wrong, but anyway. But yeah, this is a fantastic book. The top 30 songs about days of the week. The top 5,000 songs of the rock era. Oh my gosh! Wow, this is. I want to see if I can find a more recent edition of this because this is a fantastic book. Look how thick it is. That's fantastic. All right, so the last book, another ooh, pet hair. Yeah. So the last one is Rock On Almanac: The First Four Decades of Rock and Roll by Norm N. Chronology. So, oh wow, you saw them live? Echo and the Bunnymen? Wow, that's great. Um, yeah, I'm trying to make heads or tails of because I'm seeing lists, but I'm not seeing what the lists are. Oh, okay, hits of 1955, and then it goes by month. So, and it looks like that's what the whole book is. And the most recent being 86, 87, 88, 89. Yeah, 89. So this book is a little older than the other one. Yeah, but still a good reference. All right. So we have 5 people here now. That's awesome. Hello, everybody. Um, let's see. Will Sargent. Yeah. Yes, yes. Welcome everybody. We just lost someone, but that's okay. All right. So I have um, these 10 CD box sets that I got on oldies.com. We were having a crazy sale on these, so I picked up um, what I think are the best ones. Now the first one, you guys probably aren't going to be too interested, but I love my classical music. So this is Antonio Vivaldi, Il Prete Rosso. So 10 CDs, and it originally I think when I bought it, I was thinking maybe it was an opera or several operas or something like that. But it's basically a collection of his music, including the Four Seasons, and it has some concertos, cantatas, sacred works, and it does have music from the operas. Oh, Colin, excellent. You have excellent taste in music. Because there's a reason classical music is classic. Yeah. So I guess I will go ahead and open it. They're in these little boxes. I think they're imported. Uh, it says made in the EU. So well, so they have these little almost miniature album sleeves with the opening on the side there. Um, yeah. So we have La Quattro Stagioni, the Four Seasons, concertos for strings, concertos and trios for mandolin and lute, concertos for oboe, strings, and basso continuo. Not familiar with that instrument, but the oboe is one of my all-time favorite instruments. Concertos for bassoon, strings, and basso continuo. 6 concertos for flute and strings, concertos without orchestra. Interesting. Cantatas. Now, uh, you may not know, a cantata is basically um, it's similar to an opera, except it's someone telling the story rather than the story being acted out, such as an opera. So that's kind of the difference there. I just recently learned that, so don't think I'm like a, a music expert or anything. I mean, I love music, but I'm far from an expert. Um, then we have sacred works and operatic arias. So, and I recently, I recently put my 200 CD changer, which I got. I thought I got it for $15, but it turns out I got it for $10 at Goodwill a long time ago, and yeah, I put it back into use because the one I had in the system in my stereo system it was a 6 CD changer, and I figured I have a 200 CD changer, I might as well put it to use. So these are going straight in there. I've already loaded it with probably uh, maybe 20 CDs, so I have a long way to go. But yes, that is the 10 CD box set of Antonio Vivaldi Il Prete Rosso. Yes. All right. The next three are jazz related, and they are my top three jazz musicians. So, in the number 3 spot, we have Dizzy Gillespie. So, this is 19 original albums on 10 CDs. Again, this is made in the EU, which is a little bit mysterious to me. It's like, do we guess which country? Anyway, Dizzy Gillespie, Milestones of a Legend, 1948 to 1961. Um, yeah, yeah. So it's funny that you mentioned the cheeks. Dizzy Gillespie, of course, is famous for puffing out his cheeks. Um, I briefly played the trumpet, and one of the first things you learn about playing the trumpet is you don't puff out your cheeks. In fact, my music teacher, he would go around the room and to us trumpet players, and you know we'd be playing, and he would go like this. So yeah, but when you're a musical genius and so talented at the trumpet, it doesn't matter if you puff out your cheeks. You can puff out your cheeks if you want to. Yeah, so thrilled to pick this up. Let's go through these. Now, unfortunately, they all have the same artwork. Um, that's the unfortunate thing. I was hoping it would be like miniature album covers. Uh, but yeah, see, it's now it does have the the albums listed on the back. So that's a plus, I guess. So here on CD1 we have the greatest of Dizzy Gillespie and Play Old Jazz Concert Volume 1 and Volume 2. Bird and Diz. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Have Trumpet Will Excite. School Days and Diz and Gets. Roy and Diz and Roy and Diz Volume 2. Afro and Sunny Side Up. At Newport. You can just fit one on there, I guess. In Greece and Perceptions. For Musicians Only. Yeah, it is. Fantastic. I haven't played these yet. So I'm hoping, the sound quality is going to be okay. For Musicians Only and An Electrifying Evening with the Dizzy Gillespie Quintet. Carnegie Hall Concert and Gillespiana. And the last one, World Statesman and Burke's Works. So again, that is Dizzy Gillespie, Milestones of a Legend, 1948 to 1961. Definitely, a bird just hit the window. Definitely thrilled to pick that up. Now, I think the classical one, I think that was, I want to say it was like $7, and these others, I believe, were 15. All right, so in the number 2 spot, Charlie Parker. So this is 10 CD collection. Now's the time. Yes. So let's take a look at this one. And again, it's all the same artwork. Yeah. So these, it doesn't look like, it just it just looks like it's a collection of songs. They're not separated by sorry. They're not separated by albums or volumes or anything like that. I'll just read off a few tracks from each disc. Swingmatism, The Jumpin' Blues, Tiny's Tempo, I'll Always Love You, Romance Without Finance. um, and there's a lot more on each one, but yeah, he did so many sessions. Colin, have you seen the movie Bird, directed by Clint Eastwood? Oh my goodness. You have a big set of his stuff? Excellent. Yeah, he's my second favorite jazz musician. Um, oh my goodness, you need to see that movie. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's depressing. It's depressing, but it's brilliant. It is brilliant. Yeah. Um, so this is the second CD. Yes, you're right. My hello to my brother Brian and his family, my nephew and niece, um, little Stevie and Fiora. Um, he had a very sad life, very very sad. Yeah. All right. So on CD2 here, warming up a riff, Billy's bounce. Now's the time. Thriving on a riff, meandering, Coco, Dizzy's boogie, and so on. There's like 20 tracks on each one, roughly. Um, on CD3, Dark Shadows, Bird's Nest, Cool Blues. Wasn't Bird's Nest on the other one? No, I guess not. Cool Blues, Relaxing at Camarillo, Cheers, Carving the Bird, um, Embraceable You, Bird Feathers, Clacked Ovised's Tenny. Yeah, it's not going to be able to focus on it, unfortunately. Well, it's close. Right there, focus. Track 3 right there. If you can make that out, that is a strange title. Charlie Parker's must-have album. Um, oh wow. I'm drawing a blank on his. See, these jazz artists from that area, they there are so many compilations. It's like hard to know. Okay, what is a compilation and what is one of the actual studio albums? Um, so it'd be very difficult for me to pick one. I can't even honestly I can't even think of the name of one of his albums off the top of my head because there were so many. Oh, you don't have much jazz? Well, you need to change that. Come on, Rob. Definitely check out Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie. Definitely recommend them. Um, and then in a moment, you'll see my number one favorite artist, and I will highly, highly recommend checking him out. So let's see. Yeah, but that was a strange title. Clacked Oviseds Tene. Very interesting. Scrapple from the Apple, My Old Flame. Miles Davis. Yeah, Miles Davis is probably in the fourth spot, actually. I need to look and see if they have one of these. They probably do have one of these of him, actually. Weather Report is cool. That's some good uh, fusion. Yeah, fusion. All right, so CD5. There's a lot of music, and these are going to get loaded in the CD changers as well. Yeah, jazz fusion. Yep, yep. Parker's Mood, perhaps. Marmaduke, Steeplechase, Merry-Go-Round, Segment, and so on. CD6, Oh Lady Be Good. That's a Gershwin song, apparently. A Night in Tunisia, which is a Dizzy Gillespie song. Dizzy Atmosphere, obviously another Dizzy Gillespie song. Sun Ra, yeah. Yeah, very interesting music. Um, Groove and High, Confirmation, Coco. Now, that one, I'm pretty sure, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe Coco appeared on the Dizzy Gillespie set. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah. Then CD7, a ton of great music. Oh, so excited. I just hope these sound okay. Again, these box sets are from oldies.com and they're made in the EU. Sweet Georgia Brown, Lady Be Good, and then a ballad medley. Looks like a very, very long one. Um, you have 4 miles of albums on vinyl. um, so the ballad medley. Let's see. Oh, all the it includes all the things you are, dearly beloved, the nearness of you, I'll get by, everything happens to me, and so on. Yeah. CD8. Oh, I picked up a few years ago now. I picked up one Charlie Parker album on vinyl. It's the only I've ever seen in the wild. Um, other than a highly priced repress. which don't really count those, but this one I found at Salvation Army for 25 cents, and I believe I cursed. Yes. No, number one is not John Coltrane. It's another trumpet player, and it's not Miles Davis. So on CD8 we have Mango Mangay, No Noise, My Little Suede Shoes, Okie Dokie, Un Poquito de Tu Amor. Ooh, nice. Why Do I Love You, and so on. Then on CD9 we have the opener, Loverman, Swedish Snaps, Blues for Alice, Casey Blues, and so on. And on the last one, CD10, we have Easy to Love, Summertime, I Didn't Know What Time It Was, If I Should Lose You, Just Friends, Everything Happens to Me. That, that's a common song that for jazz musicians to do is Everything Happens to Me. Um, I guess is considered a standard, I believe. No, it wouldn't be Dizzy. Remember, Dizzy was the third one I showed, my third favorite. Um, yes. So here it is, my favorite jazz musician, and he led another sad life. Chet Baker. Yes. Most famous for West Coast jazz or cool jazz, which isn't as aggressive or upbeat as as uh, a lot of the other styles of like hard bop and stuff like that. Um, yeah, this is music you could just like put on and just chill out to, and um, yeah, great for a Sunday afternoon. So this is Milestones of the Jazz legend Chet Baker. 17 original albums on 10 CDs. So at one point I had maybe 20 albums or more on my computer. And then my hard drive crashed. Yeah. And I do have a handful of his albums on vinyl. They're pretty easy to find on Amazon around the $15 mark. They're imports, and some people think they don't sound the best, but I'm fine with them. They sound fine to me. I'm definitely not an audiophile, so yeah. So thrilled to pick this up. 17 albums on 10 CDs. All right. So again, they all have the same cover. Oh, you're listening to Shorty Wonders? Excellent. Excellent. All right. So we have uh yeah. Uh, so my brother Brian was just saying the only reason he's heard of Chet Baker is because of me, and that is because I used to watch um, on VH1. They had a show called. Oh, thank you, Colin. I appreciate that. Um, I used to on VH1. They had a show called New Visions, and they played like stuff that they would not normally play. Music videos and clips of live shows, that kind of thing. So I discovered like all kinds of uh, different music, and it really opened my ears to different genres of music. I discovered jazz fusion that way. I discovered Jane Sibrey, um, Chet Baker. Um, they had a music video. Yeah, CDs are so cheap these days. This is the golden era of CDs right now. Several years ago was the golden era of vinyl, but that's over. You used to be able to go into a thrift store and find all kinds of crazy vinyl, really good vinyl for dirt cheap. Like I said, I found that Charlie Parker for 25 cents. Um, but yeah, they had a sort of music video, which was actually a clip from the film Let's Get Lost, which was kind of a documentary of Chet Baker. He was doing the song Almost Blue. Oh my gosh. In addition to playing the trumpet, he also sings. He has uh, his his voice is it's not what you would call a perfect voice, and yet there's just something about it that's like you would totally put on his music if you're trying to persuade a young lady. All right, let's move on. All right, so on CD1 here we have Gray December from 1953 and Chet Baker Quartet featuring Russ Freeman, also from 1953. Uh, Here we have Chet Baker and Strings from 1954, and Chet Baker Sings and Plays with Bud Shank, Russ Freeman, and Strings from 1955. Chet Baker Sings from 1956. Chet Baker Quartet with Russ Freeman, 1956. And Chet Baker and Art Pepper Playboys from 1957. The James Dean Story from 1957. Yes, he's 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 known for being a very quiet singer, and I really like that. There's all these people that can belt out a song and hit these high notes and all that, and that's all well and good. But there's something about a softly sung song. um, yeah, so here CD6 we have Chet Baker sings "It Could Happen to You" 1958, and Chet Baker with 50 Italian Strings 1959. CD7 Chet Baker Sextet 1954 and 1957, and Chet Baker introduces Johnny Pace 1958. Chet Baker in New York 1958, and Chet 1959. Chet Baker plays the best of Lerner and Lowe, 1959, and Chet Baker in Milan, 1959. And CD10, Chet is Back, 1962. Yeah, very cool. So I am thrilled to pick up. I just threw the box. I am thrilled to pick up these box sets. Um, I I'm gonna give these a listen, and depending on how they sound, which I have to assume that they sound fine, if not great. Um, uh, but yeah, I would at least like to pick up one of um, oh Miles Davis. I'm sure they have one of Miles Davis. They have to, and I know some of the other box sets they have are kind of uh, genre related, I guess. Like I'm pretty sure they have one like 60s pop or something like that, or yeah, that sort of thing. I mean, those would be fun to pick up too, but I think this is a good way to pick up like a bunch of music by an individual artist. So that's kind of what I was doing here. Yeah. Anyway, wow. All right. So this this went a little better than the my first attempt. Cheers to everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Um, oh, okay. Yeah, it's interesting when you can hear like the studio versions with the sort of studio chatter. It can be interesting. It it sort of turns it into more of a almost like a documentary, and so it's not what you would. It wouldn't be your go-to version, obviously, but it's interesting to hear it, once in a while. So I'm trying to think. I've heard albums that include little bits like that. Um, well, I know there was a Alicia Keys album. Um, I want to say one of her older albums that had some of the studio chatter, which was okay. But on a regular album, it's not really something you want. But yeah, now with more historical artists like Chet Baker, Dizzy Gillespie, Charlie Parker, Miles Davis, those clearly, I would find it more interesting rather than a modern artist. Yeah. Anyway, wow. So I think this went pretty well. So this bodes well for future live streams. I think we peaked out at 5 viewers, which is all right by me. And I think this will be a good way to show um, stuff that would be less popular, essentially, CDs, books, and then just save the vinyl and gear and stuff like that for other videos. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. How do, how do you bond with music these days? How do I bond with it? Well, uh, honestly, I'm huge on apps right now. Um, I, yeah, I'm huge on the apps right now, and just trying out new apps, and that's actually one thing I want to get into is reviewing some of these music apps. There's so many music apps out there and music streaming services that one thing I want to do on this channel now is kind of review those, and but essentially I consume music however I possibly can. So if that's what you mean, that is how I bond with music. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and if I could figure out how to stop this, I will see you next time. I will see you next time. I honestly, I do make music. It's not it's experimental, but yeah. So I wouldn't consider it composing. Yeah, maybe we'll take and talk about that next time. Maybe I'll even play some in the background. All right. Thanks for watching.